Hi everyone, my name is Rahul. I'm in second year Triple E in UVCE. So today for the Chronicles episode, we have a very special guest, an alumnus of UVCE, Mr. Prakash Belavadi. Thank you very much, sir, for joining.
Thank you, Rahul.
So Prakash Belavadi, sir, is from 1985 batch mechanical engineering, and since then he has been a very prolific actor, and he's a very versatile actor as well. He has acted in multiple films like Kashmir Files and Madras Cafe, Pathan as well. So, sir, can you introduce yourself?
Well, to start with, I'm the 1983 batch, mechanical engineering at UVC. I was born in Bangalore at the Vani Villas Hospital. I was born in a family of theatre artists who did theatre and sometimes artistic film as a hobby. Both my parents were employed, my mother with the ESI Corporation of India, and my father was eventually the general manager for marketing for TT Private Limited, which used to make prestige pressure cookers. So I'm one of 4 children. I'm the second. 2 sons, 2 daughters. So I'm the second. I studied all my life in Bangalore. I'm basically a theatre person, like my parents. I've done some film and I've done a lot of journalism and so all that. But I would identify myself first as a theatre person.
So, sir, you took up engineering, and back then UVC was a top college, and you had to be really meritorious. So, how did you make the choice to be an engineer and later an artist?
I think it was not so surprising that, with those days, if you got less than 50, you went to the arts. If you got, say, less than 60 or 65, you went to commerce. And if you got above 70, you went to engineering and medicine. That's how it used to be. At least the aspiration used to be like that. I'm not saying there were some people who got more than 90 but went to arts, so I'm not trying to say that was the case all the time, but there was this general tendency that if you're weak in maths and science, then you would go to the arts, to study humanities. And even there were not many courses, it was quite limited, sociology, psychology, whatever they had, that's what they had. We had this thing, we had this PCMB stream, and if you did well in biology, then maybe you will, along with the other subjects. Then you took medicine maybe. So I did reasonably well, not as well as I should have done, reasonably well. So I got a seat in Bangalore in the 3rd list for electrical, but I fancied mechanical. I mean, it took 5 years to realize that it didn't matter, but so I went to Mandya for a year, to a very good college, by the way, in Mandya, the PS college, that was very good. And after 1 year, I got a transfer to UVCE Bangalore. So I wasn't really meritorious to that extent, but good enough to get a seat, in the government merit quota.
So, how was life back then in the 80s? How was UVC in the 80s?
It was always crumbling. That is the first thing I can think of. Everything seemed to be crumbling. Our last year project was to automate the every testing, a tensile strength testing machine. I don't know if they still have it. That was the project. We tried to automate it, but we got to a certain point and wrote a project report for it, but the mechanical department especially was really it was in bad shape. We heard glorious stories about how it was, in the past, but at the time we were studying, it was not so great. I think we had some very good lecturers. I would like to remember one particular person, Professor T. Yella Reddy, TYR, he was a fantastic teacher. So we had some good teachers, and we enjoyed hanging around because all the students were very smart. and if you were in the right kind of group, the conversations around new technology, science, even politics used to be very good. And cricket, of course, and books. It was very good to hang around. So I think the students at UVC, your batchmates, my batchmates were more interesting than the college itself.
So, this was your engineering life. And how did it turn to a life of an artist?
I was always in theatre, from birth, I would say. And I've done theatre practically every year of my life. There has been no year of my life when I've not done theatre. I have a vague recollection that, in 1998, practically the whole year, I didn't do theatre, but when I came back to Bangalore, I quit the Asian Age and I came back to Bangalore, and in the last month of 1988, I acted in a play here. So if there's been no year when I've not done theatre, since maybe the late 70s, I've always been in theatre. But what happened after engineering was that I had a road accident that year, and for 6 months I was laid up in bed. So there was one idea that I should study and do GRE and go abroad, but I didn't feel like going abroad. Then I learned some guitar and I read a lot of books. Then I tried to do my own business for some time with a friend, but I lost interest in that too because business was not my thing. So I went and became a journalist. I joined the Indian Express in 1986. So 1983 was the batch, but exams went on for so late that we finished the final exam in 1984 Feb. So after that, I had this accident till September. I couldn't walk. Then I could walk only with calipers till end of December. And then we tried to do business for about a year in 1985, but I lost interest in that. And in 86 Feb, I joined Indian Express as a reporter. And for after that 2 years Express, 2 years, there used to be a magazine called Sunday, which was edited by M.J. Akbar. It was a great magazine. So I joined Sunday, but when I joined, Akbar had left. Veer Sanghvi was the editor. I worked in Sunday for 2 years. Then I quit and I became a TV writer for TV serials. And after that finished, I went back to journalism for some time. And then I quit, then I went back to journalism again. So I've been off and on with journalism or trying something in media. Theatre always, television often those days, film later. So I've always been in media, one way or the other, but theatre always.
That's very interesting, sir. One big question was like, what is the impact factor of the media and the cinemas and plays?
Let me just switch that question around and you can ask it again, okay? What was the impact of engineering on cinema, you could ask, for instance? I'll give you 2 or 3 instances, So those days, for instance, when we set up a television production company in 1998, okay? When I came back from Delhi, that was the year I had not done any theatre. I came back here and we thought of setting up a television company. We first couldn't do because I was acting in a film that year, but later the next year, the conversation fructified and we made a television production company. And non-linear editing had come into being that time. All the film was shot on celluloid. We did non-linear editing. And even television used to be shot on analog tapes, but we would digitalize it and then do non-linear editing. That's what we were doing. So I got the equipment and I got a trainer and I trained 7 people. I had got 7 people in the office trained in non-linear editing. What I'm trying to say is that we were not scared of technology because See, like, we understood that if you have, it was very difficult to explain to people, firewire technology and all that, but because I came from engineering, I wasn't scared with what they were saying. I would say the resolution with which you shoot and the resolution with which you output, for it to be the same, you must have the same streaming capacity in the process. Like, it's like impedance matching in circuits, you should have. So, but people will shoot it on very expensive tape, but the final output will be 600 lines or something. They may have shot on 2000 lines or, for even these days 4000 lines. But what is the output resolution eventually? It does not matter, if you pour one bucket of water into your tank, which has got very high capacity, but what comes out of the tank is just one bucket eventually. It's garbage in, garbage out, as we used to call it those days, right? So we understood stuff like that. But I'll tell you two interesting things and stop with that. So we shot a film. We shot it on celluloid from that company, from the television company. That film won the national award, by the way. That was Stumble. Okay? So that film we shot, first time editors, first time director, first time screenplay writing, all first time, okay? And we shot that film and we edited the film in the office by actually getting what was on celluloid and low-res, digital thing, and we edited it. Everyone was used to do that. So when you edited, you needed expensive equipment to do what is known as a slingshot, which means, see, in film, every frame has an end edge code. There's an in edge code and an out edge code. So if you match edge codes, you can actually cut it accordingly. You just send a list of what edge codes have been joined, and it does not matter, a frame here and a frame there in the reel can be put next to each other and it can be cut. You just send it to the optical studio. They will actually cut it on film in high resolution and match. That's what it used to be. And they said, you cannot do it without a slingshot. A slingshot is the machine automatically generates the edge code numbers. And you send that program to the file to the editing studio and they'll cut it accordingly. Okay? I said, we'll write it. I said, how? I said, I'll get somebody to write the edge codes. Okay? It took 3 days. But, we saved probably 5-10 lakhs because of that. Another thing I'll tell you, those days, because we have 50 hertz, cycle for electric AC supply in India. Our PAL systems, video systems, come with 25 cycles, which is why if you shoot in PAL or video, it's 25, frames per second, because, it must capture, on the high point of the wave, so it must match, it must actually match with that thing. So you get 25 cycles, that is the ratio in which to get. But film reel itself optical comes at 24 frames. So if you take sound, how do you match? By the end of a 2-hour film, maybe there'll be 7-second mismatch in dialogue and, film. Because one is 25 frames per second and one is 24 frames per second, okay? One frame is out always, right? By the time that frame accumulates to several seconds by the end of it, right? So what we did was, we had to get an equipment called Nagra, which was to record audio also in 24 frames per second. I said, it doesn't matter, I'll take it to the studio and I'll divide it by a ratio 1 divided by 25 and I'll correct it accordingly. In video, I said, in terms of speed, I'll increase speed and reduce speed accordingly. I said, they said, you can't do it. I said, why not? They said, it'll distort it. I said, at 1/25th distortion, I think we'll take it. I don't think it'll show. So we did it like that. So this is the advantage. When new lights come, we'll know what that light will do. So when you're shooting with HMI light, if you don't match the speed of video recording to that, you would get patches of dark, because HMI light frequency is different. It has a stroboscopic effect. For instance, all this. So for the film people, it was strange to get somebody like me talking that language in a completely different technical way. So I think engineering is necessary for everybody to learn. They learn science up to a point, but I think they should learn applied science as well. I think because we live in a highly technology driven world, and you will be increasingly helpless with everything if you don't learn a little bit of technology. If you don't know how to fix your cell phone or use your smartphone or your computer, you'll be perpetually in need of help. So I'm glad I did engineering, and also I can do PowerPoint presentations with sequence, with structure. I can do all that. I could do that, I'm saying, 25 years ago.
That shows your sheer grip on your subjects.
Yeah. No, it's just that engineering really helps. It helps you think better.
In contrast to that, you have the cinemas. So how did you feel that attractive?
I remember once there was this national film festival many years ago. I don't remember the exact, maybe 2008 or 9, and Devanand was the chief guest. I was there because I'd won an award. So I was in the queue to go on stage and receive the award. 2004, right? It was 2004. Okay, I had to receive the award, and Devanand was the chief guest. Okay, I think he received the Lifetime Achievement Award also during that year, and he was on stage, either that year or the next year, and I don't remember. But he said this, the greatest invention of the 20th century, the movies. He said, I remember that gesture also. He said, yeah, I think cinema is very big. What it does is, it does something that has not been possible in any other narrative form till then. See, for instance, if you have to shoot in front of UVCE, okay? If you do a play, UVCE, you may just put a gate, or you may just put a snatch of that that Jensen and Nicholson color is there, the Bangalore color, you can put a snatch of that at the edge of the thing. Just that suggestion is enough to say it's UVCE, and you don't even have to do that. You can just say it's UVCE in theater and leave it to the audience to imagine it. But in film, because it is possible to show it, right? Because of juxtaposition, that means placing one shot next to the other shot, right? I go out to the door here, I can cut to my car turning into UVC, right? In film, I can't do it in theater. And because of that, cinema has become an extraordinary medium, because of its ability. Editing was a great invention in cinema. And later on, sound has been added, So great things have happened in cinema, and new technologies is bringing new things to it. The digital age has brought new things to film. But what it does is, it allows people to mix every art form that music, acting, photographic, composition, set work, painting, architecture, great locations, costume design, color, sound effects, digital animation, slow motion, you name it, 3D. Look at how many things come together in it. And it requires money, it requires multiple skill sets to inform its creation. It requires great technology. When new technology comes, the way you make film changes. See, you couldn't bring, for instance, people and shoot in a room like this because you had to do lighting from very high, from great heights, because the shadow should not actually become smaller than the person sitting. Then it is unnatural, or it should not become bigger. Then the light is too close, right? If it came from a distance and you use a particular kind of light, then the shadow seems parallel It looks like natural sunlight, let's say, for instance. So you require very big studios. Today, because of digital technology, I can shoot in this room. I can take a film scene in an elevator today because of new lighting, because of digital technology, because of LED and all that. Then I can write scenes in the elevator. Earlier, I would struggle to write a scene in an elevator. You have to remove one wall and you have to put a parallel elevator where the camera is there and you could light from there. You have to remove the other wall, like all kinds of things you have to do if you had to shoot. Now, you can do so you can write the script differently. I always say, women-centric stories will come back because now you can take the camera into the kitchen. I'm not saying women should be kept in the kitchen, but real life stories happen with women who are in the kitchen too. Yeah. And maybe they should come out of it. That's a different matter, but they're not there now. And you need to shoot them now. They should not come out and say, no, मैं चाय बना के लाती हूँ. She shouldn't say that, which is what they say now. Should be able to shoot her there in the kitchen, right? Where can an Indian girl wear bikinis or a smart evening dress? What are the opportunities? Very few places, very elite places you could do, which is why they have to shoot abroad. Okay, but she could wear it. She could try it on in her private room. But the camera couldn't go there earlier so easily in a private secret space. It couldn't go so easily. It was a lot of work. Now it's easy to go. The stories can be different now, So there's a lot of technology which informs how you make a film as well. So a lot of stuff happens. It's a fascinating world, I more than watching and consuming film, I watch many films. What I really like is to discuss film. If I watch, it fascinates me. But if I have to give up theatre for it, then no, I won't. Theatre is my first love. But cinema I find cinema very fascinating. Yes, for all these reasons.
One thing which the general public notices with you is your versatility. You act in almost all the languages, Indian languages.
Not all. I think I've acted in one film in Marathi, is cameo role I've done. I've acted in 2-3 films in Malayalam. I've spoken in Malayalam in 2-3 films, and I've acted in 2 Malayalam films. But in one I had to speak Tamil, not Malayalam, although it was a Malayalam film. Actually with a very good actor, Dulquer Salman. Then I've acted in a Telugu film. I've dubbed also for 2-3 films, Telugu films I've done. Which is, once I've acted in a film, if it is done, the dubbing is done in Telugu, I've gone and dubbed for that, okay. I've acted in a lot of Hindi films now, maybe 20 or more, I don't know. Maybe 25 Hindi films I've acted in. I've acted in 3, 4, 5 Hindi web series. I've acted in Kannada, many films and 1 web series in Kannada. I've acted in an English film with actually Steve Baldwin. It's set in India and I play a nasty guy in that, but it's based on the killing of Graham Staines and his sons, in Odisha. So I've acted in that film. So yeah, some 7 languages have done. Yeah.
That's really special.
Tamil, I've done many Tamil films, yeah.
Also, sir, I have seen that you have a lot of social life as well. You give a lot of TED Talks, and you also run the Bangalore International Short Film Festival. Can you throw some light on that?
Actually, I know the team that was just outside here, that they run the Bangalore International Short Film Festival. But I've mentored it here, actually, in this campus at Suchitra for more than 12 years now. So it's grown into a very big idea. I think it's the only Oscar Academy accredited short film festival in India. Yeah, it's a big one. I mean, the credit goes to the team, and I'm just there, mentor, less and less hands-on now with it. But yeah, I'm still with that team, but that's a very good team. They do that. I also do many things. I've always been involved with the theatre festivals in the English language that happen in Bangalore. In maybe in the 15 odd theatre festivals that have happened there, I've been in every one of them. There was only one I didn't do because they censored one writer who backed out, a playwright. So in protest, I backed out of the festival only once. Otherwise, I've been a part of in the organizing committee of every theatre festival in Bangalore. I'm also a little bit of an environmental activist for a better city life. So I participate in that kind of thing quite a lot. And I am all for this Swadeshi movement. So I'm connected with the Swadeshi Jagran Manch, which is against FDI, and they're interested in MSME and small industries, particularly in India, because 93% of the jobs in India are provided by the small scale sector, but the 93% of the loans are given to rich billionaires who run away from India. It's a terrible thing. See, I'm not talking like a communist, but what's wrong with saying this, And so I'm very interested in the Swadeshi Jagran Manch and their movement. But I guess I'm stretched thin trying to do many things. I'm sitting here because I'm going to start a film school in this place this year.
That's fantastic, sir. And how was your TEDx experiences been? You have recently given a TED talk in UVCE as well.
I have been doing that. I know UVCE was special because, as you said, I'm an alumnus of UVCE. But, for whatever it was when we were studying there, you feel nostalgic about, those days. And UVCE was a very big part of our youthful lives then. 10 semesters there, it was a long time, right? So for me, it was 8 semesters, but it was still a very long time to spend there. And because of the strikes and postponements, more full 5 years or a little more we had to spend. So UVCE was special, but I've been giving a lot of TED Talks, but I'm going to withdraw from now on. I'm not going to do so much because I want to look at new things and talk now. I don't want to do it, year on year now. Maybe once in 2 years, only one TED Talk I'll give from now on. I'll research about something a lot and then I'll talk. Otherwise, I won't do it. But yes, I'm interested in science. I do a lot of science theatre. Maybe I've done a dozen plays about science and scientists, on Hardy, on Galileo, on Newton, on Einstein, on Chandrasekhar, the Nobel laureate. So on Anna Ziegler, who discovered the helix, but the Crick, Watson and Crick took credit for it. But so I've done a lot of science theatre. I like it. So I have many things to do, but I love all these things, but I need to get them into one base. I don't know how I can do it. So this is a good place here because it's film. I can do drama here. We can teach drama here. We can teach music. We can teach dancing, classical Indian, Bollywood dancing. We can teach. We can teach music of all kinds, Western and Indian classical styles. We can teach singing, because we need. If you do cinema musical, the actors may have to sing. But actors will have to understand a little bit of music, they should know singing. So we'll do yoga for actors, we'll do diet for actors, courses. So exercises for actors. So I can do a number of things here, which I like. But I also have to do science. I don't know how we'll do that. So I'll do maybe TED Talks on science. And I'll do science theatre in performance. I also want to philosophically get to a point where I'll eat as much as possible the food I grow. So I want to have a small plot of land where I'll grow stuff that I can eat. So I think we should be able to do a different life because the future is rushing towards us and it's not looking very good. I think we have done a lot of damage for you young people, my generation and generations before me. And we must make amends and look at ways of creating a sustainable life. So my love with environment, it is not love, it is responsibility. I have to do something about it. So I have, with some friends, we have formed a trust called the Greater Bengaluru Parisara Foundation, where we will actually put an app in the hands of people, with which they can look at the state of air, surface water and groundwater, soil, toxicity in water, how you're dealing with your sewage, your electromagnetic radiation bandwidth, what is safe, where it is not safe. We want to do that and put it in the hands of the public. You young people should help us.
Definitely, sir. And my last question to you is, what message do you have for UVC and its students right now?
Firstly, UVC, I'll see this idea of having an engineering college is archaic. It's obsolete. And UVC should think about, we need engineering in cinema, a lot more technology than India produces. India contributes very little to cinema technology, right? So UVC should have a course for moving image media. They should have technology for which they should understand moving image media, right? So this whole idea of actually engineering, this working in silos is really archaic. They should, in fact, stop calling themselves, engineering college. It can be UVC Center of, technology. Or if you want to be of science and technology because you want to do research as well. You must be able to do technology for medicine, for distance medicine. When technology for using AI, robotics, to do, say, medical interventions in primary healthcare centers, across India. You should be able to enable machine learning. Maybe classrooms can be done, with holographic, images. Maybe your holographic image can be in a classroom simultaneously in, say, 500 classrooms you could be teaching simultaneously, although you're doing it from one place. You should have some interactive phase in that, where questions can be collated, and all the questions, can be collated, and you'll answer, say, the first, all the common questions. The remaining, you'll answer offline. Let's say you need to think about such things and do. And I will say UVC should really stop what it's doing now and start again, doing something where you're ready for something 20 years from now. Otherwise, you'll become obsolete in the next 2 years. These courses nobody will take soon, because you have to be future ready. What's the point of learning this stuff? Well, I don't know how long, internal combustion engine will last. Okay? There's Hyperloop. Or if you have, hydrogen fuel. Are you studying that?
We have a little bit in the last semester.
You should have had a lot of it, I'm saying that the thing is you should be future ready, and we need engineers in cinema, we need them in television, we need them in hospitals, we need them in government, we need them in agriculture, we need harvesting machines, maybe sowing machines, or we need machines that can actually test soil and tell you what is the best thing, to use there. We want machines. There are drones that can go and sit on water, draw sample, and make analysis. Then India is not thinking of that. In some Indians, boys, young people like you will go abroad, study, and innovate and do something maybe. But what is the responsibility of these colleges, right? So I think colleges, UVC will no longer be necessary if they do textbook teaching from class. No teacher can do what AI can do now. Okay, a teacher needs to be like a partner in research. The first among equals a teacher needs to be today. So they research with you, they innovate with you. That's how it should be. I'll come and teach you. I'm sorry, that's over. It was over actually as of 3 or 4 months ago. It's over. You have no job. I want to tell them, you have to be protected by government or somebody, because nobody wants you anymore if you don't update yourself into this new world. So I'll stop because that's so negative, But I'll tell you, you people, look at this, because what you've learned from college is not enough now. You know that, no? It's not enough. You can't fix anything. If my camera breaks down, I can't come to you. If my car breaks down, there are computers inside the car. You can't do anything. I have to go to somebody who's gone to an ITI, he's done diploma in something. He gets training when joins the car industry, automobile industry. He gets 6 months or 8 months of training. That person can do something about it. I don't think you can do anything about it. I couldn't repair a car if it broke down in the past, right? So even we didn't know. But it's much worse now. Say, 30 years, 40 years, it's much worse, The disconnect is just too much. What you learn and what you actually have to do. The disconnect has become too much. And you people have to look at ways of, maybe talking to machines and talking to robots and talking to AI and learning. See, if you want to know what are the pitfalls of using a certain mobile phone, I can tell you for sure, I've tried it. All the forums that give out some information, that ChatGPT or GPT-4 can do better than that. For a particular model, what is the best way to fix some things? It can do better than anybody. If you have a project report, if you write to write a program in the language of your choice, AI will write it now. You guys would have tried it. Come on, okay? Everyone knows this. It writes musical scores for movies, okay? Now songs it will write. So you should not be working under a machine. The machine should be working for you. Do whatever is required for that. That's a longer TED talk. One day I should do. But you should do something about this, that you should see, the principle is this, that you should have override on the machine. Okay? You should not be subordinated to it. And that override is not just machine control. The override should be self-esteem. You should feel, no, this is not the correct way to do it. Because that thing is very humble. It learns. I'm sorry, I'll learn, it'll say, right? It'll learn. Okay? And you should be careful what you teach it, because it'll serve any master, good and bad. Okay? So basically you need to put ethics back into the game. And ethics means that I am one among a community. If I'm the only beneficiary among all the people sitting here, it's not a good thing. I have 80% of market share in something, may sound successful, but it's entirely unjust. Okay? Everyone should have a bit of it. It's an equitability are very important ideas. Machines don't care. Humans have the gift of empathy. So you have to go back to the world of ethics and empathy and create a better world, so you don't consume at the cost of other people. You can't say, I'll make the city clean, I'll get the electricity somewhere else, but you destroy the river and ecosystem there. No, you can't do that. You have to think carefully. What you do affects other people. So you have to take that into account. What is the cost of affecting the other people? When you make your design calculation, what is the cost of a product? Do you take the cost of where the dye was thrown, into which water body, where it leaked into the underground? And if people are dying or getting diseases because of it, right? There's a cost, and that cost is human. That cost is for all plant life. That cost is for the health of rivers and lakes, and on groundwater and air, the ozone layer, everything. It costs. You're responsible not just for yourself and your family. You're responsible for everybody you're affecting. Correct?
Yes.
So I feel young people should compulsorily go through a course in ethics. And you have to do it yourself, because your teachers, your syllabus, content makers, they won't care. You should do it yourself because of that.
So this brings us to the end of our episode. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Rahul.